Hello and welcome to Kumi Now. My name is Omar Harami. Before we start, I'd like to remind you that our webinar is being broadcasted live on Facebook and will be posted to YouTube. If you want to make sure your photo does not appear online, please turn off your camera. We would also love it if you could quickly share one of the links that are being shared in the chat so that others may join. As usual, if you have an idea or project you'd like to share for up to 5 minutes or so in a future meeting, please email us at kumi@kuminow.com. Now it's time for our weekly activism survey. We will now launch the poll. Please, Andros, can you please launch it? Thank you. So the answer to number 2 is that Naji Ali created the character of Handala. And the answer to number 3 is the Waldorf Hotel is located in Bethlehem. We hope that you will find this session interesting and informative. I'd like to start by having Wissam introduce himself today.
Hello, Omar. Hello, everyone. Good morning to our friends in the United States, and our prayers, of course, with our friends in Louisiana with the catastrophe that's happening there. Hello again. My name is Wissam Salsa. I'm the manager of the Waldorf Hotel, which is located in Bethlehem. I am from Bethlehem. I was born in Bethlehem and still living in Bethlehem. And I'm so honored today to be with you in this special session with Kumi Now. I think it's a very important meeting that's happening. And I thank you all for your interest in participating today. I don't know what else you want me to say, Omar.
Thank you, Wissam. It's also an honor and pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you. I know you have a busy schedule. Thank you for accepting. Before we start with Wissam and learning about the topic of art as a resistance, I will be sharing with you briefly an update on the ground from Palestine and Israel. If you give me a second, I will be sharing the screen. So, like the rest of the world, COVID-19 unfortunately continues to haunt Palestine and Israel. Yes, and is a major part of the local news today. Yesterday alone, there were over 70 people who died in both Palestine and Israel due to COVID-19. Today, there has been over 14,000 cases, both recorded in both Palestine and Israel. The major number has been inside Israel with 12,000 cases almost. This is a maximum, this is a record number since last February. Murad Atiyeh, he is from the families of Sheikh Jarrah. He has been arrested at the beginning of August. He has not been charged by the Israeli police. They keep him under administrative detention. His court hearing has been postponed until the 10th of October. He is one of the active members of the families. He's the one who was in charge of welcoming visitors and activists to Sheikh Jarrah. And many believe that Israel is using him as a model to punish the community of Sheikh Jarrah. Please hold him in your prayers. This photo is of Anhar Addiq with their young daughter and her husband. Anhar is in her 9th month, expecting a baby any moment. She is due to give a cesarean surgery tomorrow or the day after to deliver their second son. Anhar is from the area of Ramallah. She was arrested while she was walking on a mountain under the threat of confiscation close to her village while she was 4 months pregnant. Her son to come is going to be in prison, which will make him the youngest Palestinian prisoner. He's not born yet, but already there's a very big campaign in Palestine asking for the release of the mother and her to be and her son, or even before, people are trying to advocate so that the mother will give delivery with her husband, with her family members at a hospital. It is reported that she had depression, serious depression, during her pregnancy, and people don't know why she was walking on the mountain that was under the confiscation, under the threat of confiscation. So please hold Anhar in your prayers and her family. There are 7 Palestinian prisoners who are on hunger strike. The longest Palestinian prisoner who is under administrative detention and going through the hunger strike was over 45 days now. The numbers continue to grow. Israel, since the beginning of the year, arrested over 800 people under administrative detention, a record high since the last 5 years. But however, Palestinian prisoners who are under administrative detention it has become a tradition and a way of resistance. Immediately, they're going into a hunger strike the moment that they are detained for over a week. Israel refuses to charge or to let the people who are arrested to know why they have been arrested. Some of the people who are going through the strike have been for over a year without knowing why they have been arrested. This photo is of 3 friends, Ali, Omar, and Taysir. They are from the Jerusalem area. They're 17 years old. They have been sentenced for 11 months in prison. They handed themselves over to the to the Israeli police at Al-Maskoubiya in West Jerusalem prison, where they will be serving the time behind bars. Please hold them and their families in your prayers. And now we will turn to our main issue of the week, art as a resistance. And our special guest, Wissam Salsa, the manager of the Waldorf Hotel in Bethlehem and an artist in his own right. As Mr. Salsa speak, if you have a question, please type in the chat and I will try to ask as many as possible when we get to the questions and answers. Wissam, please take it away.
Okay, thank you so much. In such a presentation with several audience, I always wonder where I should start. But maybe today I will go a little bit with the background of the project of the Waldorf Hotel and the ideas behind it. And then you guys will lead me through my presentation and ask your questions. And I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions if I can. Well, as I mentioned, I'm from Bethlehem. I grew up here and I've been always unhappy with the way that media presented the Palestinians. And since 1996, while I was studying at Bethlehem University, I got involved in initiative to educate the foreigners, the tourists that come to Bethlehem, to Palestine, to visit mainly the Church of the Nativity. I've been always unhappy with the behavior of the tourists, since most of them would come to visit the church with Israeli tour guides mainly, and they will ignore the locals and they will ignore lots of things. So we, Bethlehem, got nothing out of this tourism but trash that was left in Bethlehem and the buses that polluted our town. So this was kind of my motivation. I said, well, we don't need such tourists to come to Bethlehem if they will not be responsible and respectful to us. Especially we Palestinians live under occupation, and information is, I mean, our image is so important because media, unfortunately, always messed up with the image of the Palestinians. Palestinians for a long time were presented in media, or people would get the impression when they hear of Palestinians, they would think of violence or even terrorism, which is not true. We Palestinians are normal people. We like to live. We are seeking for our freedom. And I always felt that I have to do something. So this is how I got involved in tourism. So I've been really like very active in this field, even during like leading pilgrims groups. I have to sneak lots of information to them, like things that they would not hear if they are with a different guide, especially if they are not with a Palestinian guide. Luckily, in 2005, I met with Banksy. Banksy, this great artist who created the world of hotel, came to Palestine after the Israelis started building the apartheid wall around our cities. And probably he was the first international artist, or even the first artist to paint on the wall. He got in touch with me. At that point, I did not know that was Banksy. Actually, I never heard of Banksy at that time. Situation in Bethlehem in 2005 was so bad. Tourism is down to zero almost. Violence. You know, he came to Bethlehem or to Palestine to paint on the wall, but I took him all over. I introduced him to refugee camps. I went with him to different Palestinian cities. He lived with us, and while he was here, he painted on the separation wall in different places. I thought what he was doing is cool and very different, but still, like, I really did not know who was he or how influential he could be. Months after he left, I was watching Al Jazeera, and there was a report about Banksy and the paintings that he'd done on the separation wall, and they were saying Banksy, Banksy. So I had to Google the name, and I was surprised to hear that, or to read that he's a mysterious artist. Nobody knows who he is, and you know, the amount of interest that media or people got about his paintings on or about his graffiti on the separation wall. And since then, I started to notice lots of Palestinian, lots of tourists who come from different parts of the world to look at his artwork. And there have been lots of stories about his graffiti, which also brought back the story of the wall, you know, more and more to the media. So this is how, like, this is my introduction to the art or this type of art, which I found very, very interesting and on the field of my interest as well. I realized that media is so selfish. They would look for stories that they can sell, and as soon as the story is sold, despite what impact is happening from from the wall or from a war, as soon as the story is finished, as soon as they do one story, it's over for them, and probably they will never report again. But I realized that art is a great tool to bring back, or to force media and to force everyone to speak again and again and again about the issue that should be discussed and should be presented. So, like, Banksy urged media speak again and again about the wall. And also Banksy at that point encouraged lots of people to come and walk in Bethlehem and to be in Bethlehem. I don't know who are with us, but maybe some of you, or at least our friends from Kumi now, would remember that before maybe year 2000 or before, like till maybe like 15 years ago, we would not see much tourists walking in Bethlehem. Most of the tourists would come to Bethlehem just for the church. If they stay at the hotels, they will stay at the hotels, and that's it. But after Banksy came to Bethlehem, we started to see some more tourists to walk in Bethlehem. So 2007, I invited him to come and do more artwork in Bethlehem. And actually, he came back in 2007 and did very interesting art event in Bethlehem called Santa's Ghetto, where he painted in the streets of Bethlehem, and later he called lots of international artists to come and paint on the wall. And you know, fortunately, been lots of interest by the media again and again, and lots of reports and lots of stories and lots of documentaries been done because of the graffiti of Banksy and the other artists. And this is the Rolling Stone for us, to bring up the stories that need to be brought up and force media to present us in a different way that we are presented in general. Yeah, so I just want to go back to the hotel, because I think, Omar, if you like to post some of pictures from the hotel, that would be lovely, I think. I just want to tell you briefly about the Waldorf Hotel, which is, as you see in this picture, the Waldorf Hotel is only 4 meters away from the separation wall that was built in 2003. The building that we are in was a residential building that was not used almost for 14 years. The people that were living here, they left the building because of the wall and the whole situation. And that area became very dead area in Bethlehem until the Waldorf Hotel opened. When we decided to do the hotel or to do this project, of course, it has to remain confidential. So we rented the building. We have to knock down all of the walls inside the building and started building new thing, which made no sense to lots of people. Even the people who were working there, they made no sense. We really had to go through lots of hardship just to convince people that we are not idiots and we are doing something interesting. But of course, we couldn't tell what project we are doing. We've done this secretly. We were working at the hotel for almost 15 months until we finished everything. Then Banksy came over to install the art that he shipped to us from the UK, such pieces that you see in these pictures. And also he painted on some of the rooms like the previous pictures that you saw. And after we finished everything inside this building, Banksy sent a team to do the facade of the building. So we've done, I mean, we prepared everything already. Everything were prepared, like the canopies, the sign, like everything was like the plans, and we installed everything in 24 hours. So it was a big surprise for everyone, for Bethlehem community, for the international community, and even for our neighbors who wake up in the morning to see a completely different building. Looks very different than what usually they saw. And that was the great opening of the Waldorf Hotel. The Waldorf Hotel, for those who never came to, the Waldorf Hotel is not just a hotel, because we are actually not a hotel. We are a small guest house. We have only 9 bedrooms. We are known to be the hotel with the worst view in the world. So usually our room sells according to the view. The worse the view is, the more expensive the room becomes. The hotel has the largest collection of Banksy artwork in the whole world. We have almost 80 original pieces by Banksy, small and big, of course. The hotel has a museum that tells the Palestinian story. I mean, if you're going through our museum, you would learn how we live in Palestine under occupation. And the hotel also has an art gallery dedicated for Palestinian artists. So we sell and we exhibit Palestinian art from different Palestinian artists, and we keep changing the exhibition. So every time, like every few months, we have something new happening at our art gallery. Now the hotel is not, I mean, it's not open only for the residents, for the people who would come and stay at the hotel. The hotel is open for public. Luckily, media helped us a lot to promote the hotel. And shortly after we opened the hotel, we were called as a hotel, like we were called as the most famous hotel in the world. And the hotel employs almost 50 locals, for 50 people, and also bring lots of business to the community. We had lots and lots of people that came from different parts of the world to Palestine just because of the Waldorf Hotel. And the same year, we opened, by the way, in 2017, in I think September 2017, the word travel, like word travel organization, which belongs to the United Nations. They put Palestine as #1 in tourism growth in the world, and some papers, even Haaretz and Times, attributed that growth of tourism or in tourism to, like, they attributed that to the Waldorf Hotel, which is not true, but you know, we have this amazing reputation that we have improved the tourism in Palestine. Yeah, so it's the power of art, bringing people from all over the world to Palestine to experience something new and to experience the real life in Palestine. Since we opened, we had almost since we opened exactly 3 years. So we opened the hotel on the 3rd of March 2017, and we closed in the 3rd of March to 20 because of COVID. So we served 3 years, and during the 3 years we had almost 300,000 visitors that came to the Waldorf Hotel, which is a big number. We have different, I mean, people from different backgrounds, very like politicians, ministers, you know, ambassadors. They all came and visited our museum and gallery, which is so powerful, I think, and very, very interesting. Now, the Waldorf Hotel became it's like you know, I told you how I was working. I was approaching people. I was like a tour guide, or through my travel agency, approaching people to teach them the Palestinian story. But the Waldorf Hotel made it way much easier for me, because now people are coming to the Waldorf Hotel to learn our story and to learn our experience. We at the Waldorf Hotel organizes lots of activities that were so major in telling or educating people about the Palestinian narrative. I mean, I want to go back, or I want to kind of get into the topic that the topic of this session, art as a resistance. It's amazing how powerful art could be. How responsive responsive people are toward art, and how respectful people could be to a respectful art that challenges or provokes them. The Waldorf Hotel, I mean, the whole hotel is an artwork, and it's mainly created by Banksy. It's I mean, as a unit, it gives the visitors, or first, it's of course because of Banksy, there are lots of interest from lots of people to come. Banks is really a big artist, is a big name, and lots of people would come to the Waldorf Hotel, not really to visit our museum. They would come, lots of them, they would come just to look at Banks's artwork, but of course they would find the museum and they will go through the museum. And this is the surprise, or this is the learning experience that they will get when they go through the alleys of our museum to learn about our life under occupation. Now, we at the Waldorf Hotel organize several things, several activities to just to educate the world. One of the major things that was organized by Banksy and the Waldorf Hotel was a Balfour Street party, and you can actually Google, or like on YouTube, you can just write Balfour Waldorf Hotel, and you can see what was organized at the Waldorf Hotel. That was 100 years for Balfour Declaration, and like Balfour Declaration never been a major thing that the world would remember. But if you go back to the news from the 2nd of November 2017, you would see that most of the papers around the world, they talked about Balfour Street party that was organized at the Waldorf Hotel, and was created by Banksy. It was a very big, very powerful street party, a very powerful art event that urged, because it's art, it urged people to hear the story and hear the Palestinian voice. Sorry, I speak too fast, but there are lots of I'm okay, yeah? Are you okay with that? Yeah. What I want to say, that we Palestinians pay very high price to make our voice reach the world. When you hear of, or when you see children of Gaza demonstrating at the borders and burning tires at the border, you have to remember that they don't do that because it's fun, or they like to smell the tires, or because they are idiots and they do not realize that the smoke is poisoning and it's so bad for their health and their community. I think, or I don't think they do that because they want the people to hear their voice. They're trying to pass a message to the world that, hey, world, look at us. We, the people in Gaza, are dying. We live in the largest prison on earth. So it's all about message. And unfortunately, lots of casualties among those children, among those people. People die in different way, trying to get attention or the support of the international community, especially when they are helpless, when they are powerless, and they are desperate to get the power from the others to assist them, to help them. And so the art is a substitute for lots of things that may cause casualties and may cause death. Art is a very powerful tool in communicating with the mind and the heart of nations. I just want to bring back some like a very important thing that happened recently with the latest war in Gaza. And I personally believe that the international solidarity that happened around the world is what have urged Israel to stop bombarding Gaza, and what urged that war to end, and the bloodshedding to stop. So it's all I think the tool of, I mean, people are more they understand they understand these messages that comes from the heart and from passion, they more than anything else that may generate violence and destruction. So the Waldorf Hotel is using the art to present the Palestinian story, using the Palestinian art to using the art to eliminate issues that we go through, and also use the art to speak to the guests that come to the Waldorf Hotel. We have our like after for those who came to the Waldorf Hotel, you realize that it's a self-guided tour. No one will take you around the hotel. So you would learn lots of things at the museum, but also we still have lots of Palestinian art made by Palestinian artists, would really reflect what we would think as Palestinians. And I believe it's a great way of communication, and it's an amazing way of reaching out. Another thing that before I stop to take your questions, one of the major things that was organized at the Waldorf Hotel, and it was Banks's idea, is to do a nativity play at the car park of our hotel. And this nativity play, I sent Kumi now the link. I think they are sharing the link with you. This nativity play was so powerful that, I mean, a documentary was made about this nativity play. The nativity play that was done at the car park of our hotel was directed by Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle is the director of the director of Slumdog Millionaire winner. He's an Oscar winner. He's the one who organized the Olympics in London in 2011 or 12. You know, those celebrities, when they get involved in or those artists, when they get involved even in a very simple thing, they bring lots of interest and they raise lots of awareness around the world, and they will serve major issues. So this is something that I invite you to look at. It's on YouTube, but I invite you to look at. It's a very, very interesting documentary. It's called Alternativity. I'm going to stop here for questions, and yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Wissam. If you have questions, please place them in the chat. But before, thank you so much, Wissam. We'd now like to introduce our action for the day and give everybody a few minutes to get started on today's on it. Today, we'd like to consume and share the art of Palestinian artists far and wide, particularly those artists that use their art to shed light on the Israeli occupation and oppose it. We have three main ways you can carry out this action, as you can see on the screen. You can consume a piece of Palestinian art yourself, be it a movie, book, or something else, and then share your recommendation online with friends. Another option is that you can arrange as a group to watch a film in your own home or read a book and discuss it online. Third option, eventually we'll be able to return to in-person events. What better way to welcome your own organization back to host a screening of a Palestinian film or an art show of Palestinian art? Start planning for such an event. Wissam, is there anything you'd like us to say about our action? Is there something that you'd like to say about our action time today and what people can do, can be doing to support and share Palestinian art?
Yeah, I think it's a personal thing. I really cannot tell people what they can do. Each one got their own abilities, and I just want to say something about Palestinian art. That Palestinian art is so interesting. It's a monumental art. It's an art. Lots of Palestinian art is an art with like documents part of the history, and comes out from a very rich life experience. So it's I, of course, as a manager of an art hotel, and of course I'm managing one of the largest art galleries in the Middle East. I invite everyone to consider the Palestinian art, to look at the Palestinian art, or even to buy Palestinian art. It will be so interesting, and it's very unique. I mean, some of our artwork is so unique.
Thank you, Wissam. Fortunately for us, we are not as diplomatic as you. We're gonna push people to do something. It's important. So there is information on the screen. Thank you, friends. And we will give you a few minutes, and the information will be also in the chat already. So please, you have the instructions. Please note that Zoom does not allow on-screen links. So everything you need is being shared in the chat. We'll give you about 5 minutes or less to get started, figuring out what you're going to read or watch and how you can share Palestinian art with others. We will then come back to do the questions and answers. Thank you. Thank you, friends. We will be moving now into the questions and answers. So, Wissam, we have many questions, so let's try to aim to answer them as much as we can. The first question, people have asked, can they buy T-shirts and sweatshirts online?
No, our gift shop is closed and we are out of stock now. Sorry for that.
Okay. Are groups or visitors starting to come yet? I mean, there have been some groups into Bethlehem.
Unfortunately, again, we are closed because of the pandemic, and we are doing some renovation at the hotel at this moment. Hoping to open soon. Depends on how it's gonna go. How it's gonna go with COVID. I mean, beside that, usually our target group. I mean, we have some locals that would come to the hotel, but we cannot rely on locals to operate the hotel. It's so costly and so expensive to operate here. So we are hoping that after maybe they are talking about opening the airport after the Jewish holidays that end on the 22nd of September. So hopefully we would open after that.
This is a follow-up question. People would like to see how you are coping with the prolonged COVID crisis and the subsequent absence of tourism and visitors at the hotel and the tourism sector in Palestine in general, especially Bethlehem.
To be honest with you, situation in Bethlehem is not good at all. It's so bad in economical level. I mean, in all levels, but in economical level, it's so bad. I think it suffered more than any other district or city in Palestine, because most of the people in Bethlehem, especially the Christian community, are involved in tourism, and people are doing zero business at this point. So it's really a very, very tough situation. And many times I wonder how people could manage or they could survive this hardship. And of course, no one is supporting any of the tourism sectors here. I mean, you have to manage by yourself. You know how it is, Omar, here.
I know, it's very sad. It's very sad.
It's a very serious situation.
Do you have any connections with the Waldorf Hotel in Paris? And does it have any Palestinian theme there?
No, they stole the ID and they stole the name and they stole everything. This is illegal business.
In Paris?
In Paris, yeah. They stole it. No, we are not connected at all.
And they have nothing about Palestine there?
No. It's just business.
Tell us more about some of the Palestinian artists who you like personally.
There are lots of amazing Palestinian artists. I mean, big artists, big names like Slimane Mansour is a very, very interesting artist. Nabil Anani, Taysir Barakat, and Amir Shomali. And there are lots of younger Palestinian artists that we are discovering through our art activities that we organize at the Waldorf Hotel. Like Abdillah Daragma, Yazan Salama. I mean, during the last 3-4 years, we discovered lots of very smart artists in Palestine, and we exhibited their artwork. Those people probably would never have such opportunity if the Waldorf Hotel does not exist. Of course, the Waldorf Hotel is probably the only venue that present the Palestinian art not only for the locals but to the internationals. Most of our clients are internationals. So this is a very important opportunity for the Palestinian art and artists as well.
Can you talk more about some of the art pieces that are on display at the hotel and how they express the struggle of the Palestinian people for self-determination?
Usually art visualizes the human passion, and it always comes out in a very good way and in a very peaceful way. I mean, it's very difficult for me for now to draw a picture for you, but Palestinian art is like when you look at an artwork by a good artist, I mean, you would feel that it carries lots of messages in its colors and in the concept of the painting. So it's it's really difficult to talk about it, but like when you see it, probably you will understand what I'm talking about.
So here's an interesting question that we hear it often. While I enjoy the graffiti on the apartheid wall, which is separating Palestinian from their lands, I wonder, is the artwork and the on the apartheid wall tourism contributing to the permanence of the apartheid of the separation wall?
No, no, it's the art, the graffiti, as I said in the beginning, it's a way to eliminate, is a way to show the wall and to bring back the story of the wall again and again, in like through the media. Media will never talk about the wall if there is nothing interesting on the wall or next to the wall. So this is the usage of the art. Some people say, oh, you are decorating the wall. Of course, we are not decorating the wall. You cannot make this wall look beautiful. This wall is killing us, is controlling our lives, controlling the details of our lives. So no way to that art could serve, you know, such a structure. Art is made to protest such a structure, not to serve such a structure.
Can we see pictures of your gallery?
I have to carry my laptop around. I mean,
do you have them on website or on a place that people
actually, because we are doing a new exhibition, and we always like to you know, just surprise people with what we have. So we are not showing pictures of the whole thing, but I'm happy to send you some pictures from our art gallery, and you can post them in your website, and hopefully when we open, things will be on our website and people can look at them, or of course they are welcome to come and visit in person and see the artwork and the museum. But this is one of the paintings that it's a poster actually. Oh, wait. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's called the Savior, Jesus rescuing a refugee.
It is beautiful. Somebody is asking who doesn't know the hotel. For the people who can stay overnight at the hotel when it opens, do you also offer food?
Well, we offer only breakfast, and we do afternoon tea. We decided not to serve food because we don't want people to stay at the hotel. We want people to go out and walk in the streets of Bethlehem, to go to restaurants and meet with locals. The motto that Banksy decided for the hotel was a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, who said that art is made to comfort the disturbed and to disturb the comfortables. So we simply like to disturb our comfortable guests by making them encounter the reality. So they go out for dinner. We offer them 2 walking tours through the wall and to Aida refugee camp. Of course, some guys from Aida would come to the hotel and will take our visitors in a walking tour to visit with them, and they were bringing them back to the hotel. Yeah.
There is one question about, could you please speak briefly about the art community in Gaza, and do you have any connections with them?
Of course. Gaza being always presented by our art exhibition and then at our hotel. We usually for now, for example, in our new art exhibition that we put up, and it's ready for hopefully when we open again. We have over like 1/3 of the artists that are presented in our art gallery are from Gaza. 1/3. So there are about more than 10 artists from Gaza are presented at our gallery.
And Palestinians who live inside Israel, do you have any actions?
Yes, any Palestinian artist could exhibit at our art exhibition. Of course, there is a criteria for any exhibition that we do because we want only good art to come in. So we have a consultant committee that, and of course, a local curator who would decide the best art to come to be displayed at our hotel. And of course, this makes a motivation for artists to be more creative, to be able to show their artwork at the Waldorf Hotel. Beside that, we have a small room next to the bigger exhibition dedicated for younger artists. So younger artists could have the opportunity to have a solo exhibition like a collective exhibition at the Waldorf Hotel. So we try to include everyone in the art activities that we do.
How does the Israeli authorities respond to the art on the wall, and specifically to your hotel? The army does incursions in Bethlehem. Have they ever hassled you?
No, they never hassled us. Even they don't like us. We are an art hotel, and what inside the hotel is what we feel and what we think. The good thing about our hotel and our art exhibition or our museum that it's built with, I mean, we took in consideration that it should have zero incitements. I mean, we don't want people to take a position, or we don't really want people to be anti-Israel when they come to our hotel. We don't want, I believe that we should not make the circle of hostility bigger. We want people to understand and to take action to serve the real peace and justice. So our museum has, I mean, if you go through our museum, even if you are a Zionist, you will learn only facts. We really work so hard to be sure that we don't tell any lie inside our museum. And what you read and what you see is so obvious. And you would, read in a newspaper, but it is put in a very creative and smart way to communicate with all kinds of people. Besides that, from the beginning, we thought that we are interested to have Israelis to come to our hotel. I mean, not for activities, but when Israelis come, and lots of Israelis, by the way, would come to the hotel as people. I mean, like civilians, right? We don't check ID cards when you come in, but we realize that lots of Israelis would come. So we like for Israeli civilians to come. Of course, we don't really do any activities, just visitors, right? Because we think it's so important, because lots of Israelis don't understand what they are doing, or what their government or what the occupation is doing on the Palestinians. They don't know how we Palestinians are living. So through our museum and through our art project, we try to reach everyone. I mean, we try to reach the Israelis, we try to reach the international community, and also we try to educate our kids, because even our kids don't know much about how we live or about all of the details that, or the circumstances that we have in our lives.
There's more questions, but I will just ask one more question. would it, are you considering opening the Waldorf Hotel or similar in other places apart of Bethlehem, like Jerusalem, Nazareth, or maybe Gaza?
No, I don't think so. I think it's not. I mean, the Waldorf Hotel is good with its location, with its concept. It's not. It's not about becoming a chain. It's about reaching out. And I think it's the location of the Waldorf Hotel is very interesting because it's in Bethlehem. It's on the main road, and this is enough. Maybe different projects later on in Palestine or everywhere else, but not definitely not the Waldorf Hotel.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us today. A link to a video of this gathering, along with all the links shared today, will be available on the Kumi Now website and on YouTube in a day or so. And it will be shared in the next newsletter. You can subscribe to Kumi Now on YouTube and subscribe to our newsletter to make sure you receive them. We would greatly appreciate if you shared this amazing session with your friends and colleagues, as well as information on our future sessions. Next week, we will focus on education funding and policy. Israel runs a separate and unequal school system for Jewish Israeli students and for Palestinians. While all Israeli schools receive tax support, the government school for Israel's Christian, Muslim, and Druze receive a lower subsidy than the Jewish schools. The Israeli government has also made drastic reduction to subsidies to non-Jewish private schools in the last decade. If you like to be reminded of the online gathering an hour before they begin, you can register your for email reminders at kuminow.com/online using the form at the bottom of the page. We hope to see you back here in a week's time. Thank you, and good night or good morning, depending where you are. Thank you very much, Wissam.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Omar.